Agantuj Vrana Chikitsa is discussed in two. Shrishta has mentioned the Agantuj Vrana Chikitsa in two parts. First one, the general treatment, and second one, the specific treatment. General treatment means all the treatment. General treatment means that one common treatment you have to give. You have to give all the trauma patients. As in the shloka he mentioned, Chinne bhinne tatha vidhe kshate va asarg sarvet. The chinna bhinna vidha kshata. All these vrana has the asarg sarvet means there must be a bleeding in these vranas. The rest to Pichit and Drashta has no bleeding or very less bleeding. So in the four type of these vranas, because of these vrana has the bleeding, so Rakta Chayad Udrajaha Rakta Chayad Udrajastra Karoti Pavanobrisham. So because of these loss of blood, there must be pain severe due to the visheshan of the Vat doshas. So for the vishesha, to control that Vata dosha, we must give the general treatment all the trauma patient, because all the trauma patient must have the bleeding and all the trauma patient must have the pain. So because of the visheshan of the Vata dosha, so to control that Vata doshas, for the shaman of that Vata doshas, the general treatment must be given to that patient, that is Sneha Panam Hitam. तत्रम तत्सेको विहितस्तथा वेशवारे सकृसरे सुस्निग्धे स्नेहपान स्नेहश्चोपनाः धान्य स्वेदाश्च कुरीत्यं स्निग्धानि आलेपनानि च वातग्न औषधि सिद्धै स्नेहर्बस्ति दीयते. Means our main focus should be to for that shaman of the vata. So that is he discussed the snehpan, utseg, veshwar, that Krishrai, Snigdha, Sneha, whatever kalpana, whatever meal you are giving to the patient, that must include the Vata, Har, Aushadhi, Guna. Understand? To control the Vata, so you can control the pain of that patient. And next slok is very important. देहस्य रुधिरम मूलम रुधिरणे उधारेत तस्माद् यत्नेन सर्वच्छम रक्तम जीवित स्थिता. So anyhow we should try to control the bleeding as early as possible to save the life of the patients. So in the four type of dharma, because there is a bleeding, so to control that bleeding, there is four measures Sushta has mentioned to control the bleeding. We have to do all that measures to control the bleedings. We will discuss in some other classes what are the four measures. That is the kashay, sorry, there is four measures we will discuss later, by which we can control the bleeding. So dahan, pachan, bhasma and kashay, these are the four measures to control the bleeding. So by this we have to control the bleeding to avoid the further damage to the patient. So the general management is that first we should give the patient to Vatahar Aushadhi, along with we should control the bleeding. The next he mentioned the Pichite and Vigrashte, because these two vrana, Pichit and Drashta, have not severe bleeding. That's why Agachitam Brisham Tasmin Daha Pakasajayate. In this kind of the vrana, there the main feature is the Daha. So to control Daha, Tatroshmanaha Nigrahatham Tatha Daha Prapagyo Sitam Alepanam Karyam Parjekam Cha Sitalaha. So in that patients we must give the cold management, Sheetal Alep. For the local application we should use the medicines which have the Pitta Shamuk properties. So as well as the local application, as well for the oral intake, we should give the medicine which are having the Pitta Samak properties. for these two conditions, Pichit and Vigrashte. So this is the general management for the Sadhyo Vrana, the Agantuj Vrana. Then what is the, he just mentioned what is the specific management. So for the specific management, we discuss one by one in the Chinna Vrana, because the some part is excised, some part is separated from the body. So first there must be a wound. So to control, we must give the Vrana Shodhana and Vrana Shivana and Vrana Bandhana. Means the general management of the Vrana is the, along with that is general management. The specific management, first we have to be whatever the Vrana wound is created by that injury, we should treat that wound. So the wound, the method of the treating of wound is first you have to do the Shodhana. So once wound is healthy, then it will start healing. If it is open wound and non-contaminated wound, then you should clean and you can Shivan, you can have to close the wounds and then you apply the bandages. So Vrana Shodhana, Shivana and Bandhana are the other specific management for the Chinna Vrana. In the Bhinna Vrana, because there is a one any particular asay is punctured in that injury, incised injury, so there must be a bleeding. So first we have to do some Rakt Stambhana Karma, Dahan Pachan, Kasai Stambhan, Pachan and Dahan. So these four things, Rakt Stambhana and Bandhan and Shodhan and Ropan of the that Vrana. So first this priority should be the Vrana Rakt Stambhana, because we have to stop the bleeding, otherwise patient will not get through that. So first stop the bleeding, then you start the management of that particular wound. In Vidhavana, there is some injury where that a sharp object is penetrate, but it not has puncture any kind of the ashay, so there is no cavity is communicated. So remove that foreign bodies and after that insert a Tailavarti and do the local management of that wound created by that penetration injury. Then Kshata, that lacerated wound. So here also there is a huge amount of the bleeding. So first we should give the Rakt Stambhana, then you have to clean a wound, Shodhana, and if wound is healthy, then we can close, then Shivana and then Bandhan Karma. So Rakt Stambhana, Shodhana and Shivana and Bandhana. In a Pichita Prana, there is a crush injury, so Shita Alep Parishek, because there is a Da is the basic property, there is no severe bleeding. So Rakta Stambhana may not required. Remove foreign body, after that Shodhana and Ropan. So if any foreign object is there, either sometime if bone is crushed and the bone is dead, so that dead part of the bone we should remove from there. That side, because that if we are not removing that dead bone, that will act as a foreign body. So we have to remove that dead tissue, and just after the removing we should clean that wound, then Shodhana and Ropan. The Drashtamana, where the bleeding is not severe, only superficial injury is there. So there is Da is there, Pitta is main dose involved. So Sheet, Alep, Parshek, Madhur and Kashaya Aushadhi for the pain relief. Understand? So we have to target the doshas. In a Chinna, Binna, Bidda and Kshat, there is a Vat is a severe specific dosha which get visited, and the in the Pichit and Drashta Pitta is important dosas. So we have to give the oral as well local management to control these dosas along with some specific management, whatever we discuss here. So these are the Rakt Stambhana property: Skandana, Shandhana, Pachana and Dahan. So that Skandan means the give the medicines which improve the coagulations, increase the coagulation, so that Sheet Virya medicines, whatever the Aushadhi have the Sheet Virya that improve the coagulation to stop the bleeding. Then Sandhan, that Kashaya Rashdrave causes the Sandhan, means that increase the coagulation also and stop the bleeding. And Pachan and Dahan. So these two others. Dahan is the cauterization. So nowadays cauterization is very important in the surgical field. So we must have the cautery machine if you are going to start any kind of the surgical procedures, because that is very significantly stop the bleeding. And with the good cautery machine you can do the bloodless surgery, because almost the blood is almost negligible bleeding is there, because it had two functions, coagulation as well as cautery, that cutting and coagulation. These two functions are there. So we already discussed the importance of this part, Rakta Stambhana, the whatever the wound has the bleeding. So our first focus should be to stop the bleeding, because Shruta mentioned Dehas Rudram Mulam Rudrene Udharit Tasmad Yatin Sacham Raktam Jivitista. The our life is due to the blood. So our aim is to stop the bleeding. If we are not able to stop the bleeding, we cannot save the life of the patient. So blood is the most important thing in our body. So if any kind of injury, any bleeding is there, our first aim to first stop the bleeding, and then other measures you have to give that. Now we discuss the next part. Whatever that after the healing there must be a scar. So that is Vrana Granthi. Vrana Granthi is not a scar actually, but the scar is the Vrana Vastu. But when the scar is not accurately formed, then it is called the Vrana Granthi, that is a hypertrophied scar, or sometimes keloid is also considered as the Vrana Granthi. So hypertrophic scar is nothing, just after the healing process, when the healing process is a little prolonged, in especially the last maturation phase, so that fibroblast overactivity and that scar become big. But the important thing is that a hypertrophic scar never cross their limit, means it should be limited in the original site of the injury, means how much the size of the injured wound. So the scar will be little hypertrophied, little bigger than normal scar, but it or never cross the limit of that original scar. So hypertrophic scar is why it is developed, it's no exact etiology is there. But if any kind of the if any factor is there which increases the healing process, so due to that irritation and the prolongation of the maturation phase, that hypertrophic scar is usually developed. And when usually if surgeon give the incisions, either if patient has the injury against the natural crease, our cells, our skin has a natural crease, a natural skin line, that is the line of Langer. So if any scar, if any injury, any wound is in parallel to that line of Langer, so that scar will be minimum. But if any injury is developed against the line, so that scar usually have a little bigger size and become the hypertrophied. Hypertrophic scar usually have no sign of increased vascularity, no itching, and usually it regress after the 6 months and become diminished its size itself. And if it is not diminished and it is symptomatic, and patients for that it's means for that point that patients wants to remove that, then better go for the excision. And you can treat that hypertrophic scar by the excision, because usually the recurrence is not found in the hypertrophic scar. You can easily remove that scars by surgical process. You can see this is the hypertrophic scar. This scar always limited in within the original wounds. It never crosses the limit of the original. Next, other thing is that also considered in the Vrana Granthi, that is keloid. Keloid is a it is a pathological conditions and usually it is looks similar to the hypertrophic scars, and usually developed after the trauma or any scar formations. The distinguished features is that it extends beyond the limit of the original scar and affect the normal tissue, and it increases in size. It is progressive mostly, and the pathophysiology behind development of the scar is that it the basic pathology of the keloid is that proliferation of the immature fibroblast. In that hypertrophic scar, that the fibroblasts are the mature fibroblast, but that's why there is no vascularity is there. But the difference between keloid is that here the immature fibroblast have become hyperactive and they involve in that area, so that there is a formation of the blood vessels, and so that it increase it just have a higher vascularity, and the blood supply is little more, so get inflamed usually very with a severe any kind of that irritating factor. It get inflamed easily and get infected by other secondary bacteria or some other any pathogens, and it includes the nearby sweet glands and sebaceous glands. So is easily formed that after the infection the sinus formation is very common, and the abscess maybe forms. So because of the presence of the immature blood vessels, it looks like pink in color, it's pinkish in color. So that is the pathophysiology, how the keloid are developed. Now the etiology, so usually there is no exact etiology you can describe for the development of the keloids, but there are some factors, just like the race. Usually the Negroes has commonly victims of that these keloids, and there may be some genetic predispositions if it runs in the family also. And the most important and usually found, that is a local irritant. Continuous trauma or continuous irritations may just trigger that cells of that area, and they start excessive proliferations and develop uh, the keloids. And mostly in the women's who just wear the locket, so that that the most common site of the scar is that external region. So the men or women who wearing some kind of locket, and so due to that irritation of that pendant in that area, that that keloids or the usually develops. Sometimes ear piercing may trigger that, and that person may develop the keloid. The features of the keloid, it has is usually present with a severe itching initially, and later on if you get inflamed and get infected, then tenderness and the abscess, the pus discharge, sinus formations, and other conditions may be developed. So on the basis of its character, it can be described the two types, progressive and non-progressive. Progressive means it increases its size, and it includes that invade in the healthy tissue, and it increases in size as the time goes. And in non-progressive, it always limit in the initial cells, initial site, and it never progress to that areas. And according to the mode of the origin, it may say it may be acquired and this and spontaneous acquired, when which is followed any kind of the scar, any kind of the injury. After that injury, that it that that scar get irritant, and it develops the keloids. That is called acquired, and sometimes it develops spontaneously without any reason, without anything. So that's why we say it's very difficult to say what is the pathophysiology, what is sorry, what is the etiological factors. There is no etiology, there is some predisposing factors are there for the development of the keloids. We already discussed the most common site is the mid external chest due to the wearing of the pendant, and or it may develop the follow any kind of the scar of the surgery, the burn scar or simple needle prick. Raised swelling from the surface, usually it is elevated, brownish, pinkish in color, smooth, shiny, claw-like progressions beyond the original scars. That is the peculiar feature of the keloids. And it usually 90% of cases is has the severe itching is the features. If it get secondary infected, then some discharge may be there, some serious discharge, some pus discharge may be there from below due to formation of the sinuses. Management, usually for the management of the keloid, we should do the conservative management. Conservative management, we should give that some Rakt Sodhak. If we talk about Ayurveda, we should to decrease the itching and inflammations. If it is secondary inflammation, we should give some drugs to clean that wound. And if no secondary infection, only itching is the feature, then we should give some Rakt Sodhak medicines, and to some Krimigna medicines, Krimigna Aushadhi, so that will reduce the itching, but it will not treat that conditions. And according to other, some symptomatic management should be given, because the most common thing that is happening with the keloid, that is the it's a recurrence. It's very common. That's why initially you should not advise the you should not do the excision of do the surgical procedure. First you should try some medicines to stop, so to give the symptomatic management, and ask the patient to wait and watch and to keep that. But if anyhow it gets secondary infection, the sinus formation is there, the abscess is there, then you have to do some surgical procedures to clean that wound and to clean that sinus. Then in that case you can do the surgical procedures. But without doing the before doing that, you must explain the prognosis, that in case of the keloid, the most common complication is the recurrence. Means you cannot assure that patient I will uh, completely cure that conditions. I can manage the conditions for the time being, but it may reoccur. There are very much chance to be recurrence are there. Some other parasurgical procedures, just like the injection of some medicines, steroids, highly hyaluronidase, vitamin A, or methotrexate can be given in the uh, base of that keloid. So up to somehow it can reduce the itching, it can reduce the size, but very difficult to cure that conditions. Some deep X-ray or ultrasonic therapies are there, so they also can give some symptomatic management, but cure is very difficult. The complication already discussed, the recurrence is most common complications, and ulceration after the secondary infection and undergoes malignant. Yeah, that is more important. Fourth one, undergoes malignant transformations. The keloid may be very rarely, but may have some malignant transformations into the squamous cell carcinoma or any other kind of that malignant transformations. But hypertrophic scar has never any kind of the malignant transformations. So here we have discussed the vrana, and after the vrana, the scar, and the if his scar is not properly formed, is hypertrophic scar, and the other condition, the keloids. So here we have finished these topics. You can see these are the some pictures of the keloids. These are all the progressive. Yes, see very severe conditions, because Negroes are very common victims. This is the hypertrophic scar, and this is the keloids. You know the difference between them. It always limit to the initial scar, and it crosses the limit. It's claw-like projections in their keloids. So here we have finished this topic.